I'm going to do it now. Okay, so here we go. We've given this, this is question D here we're doing of inverse functions, the last question we're going to do. F of x is the log of x to base a, where a is greater than 0, where a is greater than 0. We've got a point, 1/3 and -1. It's a point on the graph. Now it says prove that a equals 3. Well, they've given you y is -1, and you've got x as a third, and that's all you do. You take -1 and you put it in for y, and you take 1/3 and you put it in for x. Now you have to be able to go back and forth from this logarithmic form into exponential, which means you take the base, 3, you put it to the log, which is the power here, -1. That's the exponent, so log is the exponent, and that equals 1/3. Now, if we were to raise a to the -1, to the -1 power, that would become a. 1/3 to the -1 means you turn it upside down, it becomes 3. So a equals 3. You can play with your calculator to get this thing working too, but that's how it works. Let's look at the next question. Write down the equation of h, the inverse of f. So how do we get the inverse of f? Well, the first thing we do is we switch. There's f. We switch x and y. But now we have to make y the subject. And to do that, we have to put it in exponential form. This is logarithmic form. 3 to the x power equals y. There's exponential form. And the next question says, g of x is equal to minus f of x. Determine the equation of g. Well, there's f of x. Well, we should just put a minus in front of it. That's what it says to do, and that's the answer. Gee, it almost feels like something's a little bit silly there. Now, minus would just mean that this would kind of reverse here, but it'd be kind of the same graph. This would become positive. Any point here would become negative. If all the y values just switch sign, this thing would cross here and go like that. But the question is, what's the domain? What are all the possible things for x? Well, I'm looking at the domain here. X is greater than 0. And that's your answer here. X is greater than 0. That's the answer. That's all the things that x can be, both for g of x and minus f of x. Now the last question. For which values is f of x greater than or equal to -3? Well, what you do is you take f of x and you make it equal to -3. And let's take a look what that is. Oh, that would be, let's put it in exponential form. That means 3 to the -3 is equal to x. You take the base, the log is the power, and that gives you what x is. So x is 1/27. Now, if we go back to this graph, I want you to imagine you're way down here at y equals, x equals 1/27. And that would make a value of -3. Now, the question is, which values of x, which values will make f of x -3? So it's down there at 127, it equals to -3. Well, if we just go anything greater than 1/27, so just go above 1/27, you're going to get numbers bigger than -3, like -2, -1, 0. So that's your answer. First, you just solve, get what x is. That's a couple of the marks. And then see that it must be greater than or equal to 1/27. That's what's going to give you the solution where f of x is greater than or equal to -3. So just go over it all real slow. Some people find this log stuff pretty tricky, but hopefully this will help.